Hi, this is James Gordon-Ortolai here with the third book review in the James Bond series. The book I'll be talking about today, Moonraker. This was first published by Jonathan Cape on April 5th, 1955. This edition um, is from Triad Pamphord, and this was published in 1982. This was a decent spy thriller novel. It had some moments that I enjoyed. It's definitely a lot better than the horrible Roger Moore film of the same, which I'll explain later on. But while I like the first act of the book, I really like. The second act, it is good. The third act, hmm, it was okay. Like I will say, like there was an intense moment which I enjoyed, but I just kind of wish this book had a little more action in it. There is a good card chase in it, which I'll touch upon in my review. But this was a decent book. It wasn't bad or anything. I just felt a little more action would have made a lot better, and I also felt the villain could have been written better, as I felt that Hugo Drax in the book is a bit childish in this novel, but I'll explain that in my review. But overall, I still enjoyed this book. All right, on to the book review. Plot: James Bond returns to his office at MI6 after completing his target practice. While in the middle of filing paperwork, he gets a call from M, who wants to see him. When James goes to see him, believing it's a job, but M reveals it's a personal matter. He tells James he's a member of the Blades Club, a group where rich men go to play poker and socialize. The chairman of Blades is Sir Hugo Drax, a high-ranking World War II British commando from Liverpool that was nearly killed during a mission, which his face is covered in scars after surviving a blast. After the war, Drax disappears for 3 years, then returns as he's gotten involved with business, jet and rocket engines, and mining in Africa as he's quickly become a millionaire, as he's always making speeches and public appearances. However, there is skepticism as he failed to deliver a new rocket, Moonraker, and when questioned why the project was delayed, Drax refused to answer. And what he did after the war before he returned is a mystery. The reason why M is asking for this favor is he strongly believes that Drax cheats and has lost money from him, and if word gets out about this, it would make his boss look bad. M wants James to attend a poker game tonight to confirm that Hugo Drax is in fact cheating. Bond agrees to go. Before the game, James practices his card tricks and other methods of winning. After a shower, he gets dressed and drives over to the Blades Club with M waiting for him. Within this club are many high-ranking members of British society and other rich people. When Hugo Drax appears, he stands at 6 feet tall, has reddish hair with a mustache. His face has undergone surgery, making his right eye bigger than the left, and a little damage to his right ear. Very big man with big hands, wearing a dark blue suit with a fancy watch. Drax invites the men to play a game of poker. James watches and studies how Drax plays, but notices how nervous he gets from sweating to biting his fingernails. After winning a game, he challenges James to a poker game he accepts. When M asks, his suspicion is right, and James confirms it by pointing out how he does it, and states he can easily beat him. All he needs is use cards and 10 minutes of practice. When Drax calls him into the game, as James risks the stakes along with fooling Drax that he'll win the game, using his card tricks along with Drax getting cocky, James is able to single-handedly beat Drax in front of everyone, along with making him lose a lot of money. Drax nearly calls James out for cheating, but another member of Blades orders him not to cause any trouble and pay the winner James his earnings. The next day, James is called into M's office with a serious matter. Major Talent Ministry of Supply officer was killed last night at the missile base located between Dover and Deal, with the murderer taking his own life with his Luger pistol. Drax refuses to let police investigate on the site and is keeping everything on the base in secret as all the workers are German. M wants James to go to Hugo Drax's missile base and investigate what's going on. He'll be teaming up with an undercover agent, Gala Brand, an officer for Special Branch, acting as Drax's personal assistant. M also wants James to hurry, as within 4 days he'll be launching Moonraker, as he's got a bad feeling about Drax. Driving his Bentley blower to Dover, he reaches the missile base that's heavily guarded with dogs. The whole area is surrounded by high barbed wire fence. Drax's large house is in a heavily wooded area. Drax invites James into his house, meeting several people there. After dinner, Drax takes James along with his team to show him Moonraker as the base is built close by the cliffs of Dover. Inside the rocket base, Drake gives a tour while showing off his rocket as it's massive. However, James notices all the men working inside the base look similar in height, age, little to no hair, and mustaches. Each member of the team wears a different color uniform for each part of the rocket they work on. During the tour, James notices that something is on Drax's mind as he's becoming more agitated, refusing to answer questions. The next day, James catches one of Drake's henchmen, Crab, searching through his room. He confronts him as Crab tries to escaping, but James knocks him downstairs, searches him, taking a few items off him, demanding to know what he's doing, but Krabs refuses to answer as James tries beating him for answers. Crab is able to strike a hard blow, knocking James down and flees before he chases after him. Later that day, James and Gale go sunbathing on the beach when they are nearly killed by an avalanche. James believes someone is trying to sabotage Moonraker. However, when he returns back to Drake's house, he laughs at the sight of them, angering James, but his strange misbehavior along with speaking German is revealing his true identity. Confirming that Hugo Drax is plotting something terrible and his rocket is part of the plot, then James and Gale uncover Drake's plan is along with who he really is, and Moonraker is a highly modified V2 rocket that's going to destroy London with a nuclear warhead. It's a race against time to save London from an atomic annihilation and stop Hugo Drax's plan of reforming a new neo-Nazi group. Moonraker was a decent spy thriller. While I found the plot a lot better than the Roger Moore film of the same name, which is way goofier than the novel was, the main cast of characters was good. However, I felt Hugo Drax was a bit childish at times, along with being over the top in his outbursts of anger. Despite his clever and deadly plan, I found his character a bit annoying at times, just looking forward till he was killed off. Not much action in this novel despite a short car chase that ends in a crash. However, Moonraker was highly detailed as Ian Fleming does a good job of describing rich detail in locations, people, and cars. The first act gets off to a good start. The second act quickly gets the pacing moving. However, while the escaping of Hugo Drax's rocket base was intense, but wish there was a little more action in the third and final act. As I said before about the Roger Moore version of Moonraker is just goofy, taking James Bond into outer space with a ridiculous plot and other silly shenanigans that happen within the film really make it like a cartoon. And bringing back a character I do not like at all, Jaws. Do not bother with this film, it's so bad, and what the hell was the studio thinking of taking James Bond into space? Just terrible. Overall, I still recommend Moonraker is a decent thriller in the James Bond series. And that's a review today. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I found Moonraker a decent spy thriller in the series. It had its moments I liked, I liked the poker game that James Bond goes to. The parts where he's exploring like this rocket base I thought was really cool, and the little car chase towards the end of the book I really enjoyed. As I said, I just wish there was a little more action in it, and the ending I had to kind of like I had to look up on Wiki to kind of figure out what happened because towards the end the book just cuts to Hugo Drax and I couldn't figure out what just happened, so I had to look on Wiki to see how this character meets his demise at the end. And I will say, while that part was satisfying, as I said, I wish there was just a little more action towards the end. And yeah, I found Hugo Drax just a bit. I just found Hugo Drax annoying. Like he acts childish at times, and just the way he responds to other characters in the book. I thought, okay, I find this character just a bit childish and annoying. I just wish he was a bit more like the other two villains like in the James Bond books, like Le Chef and Mr. Big, like they were like intimidating, menacing characters. Hugo Drax was kind of like just I found him just a little bit on the goofy side. While he had like a serious plan to destroy London, but the way he acted was just really childish. And I was like, I kind of rather have it if it was like more serious and more intimidating and dark character than being goofy at times. But overall, I enjoyed the book. Other than the things I kind of wish improvements on. I still enjoyed Moonraker. It's definitely a lot better than the Roger Moore film. Oh my goodness, that film is so goofy. I don't know what MGM yeah MGM Studios was thinking. Let's take James Bond and put him in outer space. It's just a silly idea. Like back in the Live and Let Die, they admitted um they admitted they took advantage of the whole blaxploitation thing, and then with Moonraker, it's like let's take advantage of all the space movies. Like no, that's a terrible idea. Like James Bond does not go in space. If they want to make James Bond go in space, then make a completely different story of a spy going like a science fiction spy film in space or whatever. But uh, that movie is so goofy. The Return of Jaws. It's not a character I really don't like, and there's another part in the movie though. It was really silly. Like there's a part where James Bond has to put in a code to access some like secret lab or something that's in this like fancy building in France or whatever, I can't remember. And literally the code for this keypad is the musical notes from the science fiction movie I absolutely do not like. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's that music they play at the end to communicate with the aliens. So they use that, and James Bond warns some government representatives that there's like some toxic chemical or something. So to wear gas masks. They enter, and the lab that James Bond saw is now gone. And it's an empty room with Hugo Drax sitting at his desk, and then he just looks up and he sees wearing gas masks, and he's like, I don't find it's like I find your humor very strange or something like that. And I was like, what? What else? Oh yeah, there's a part in the film where James Bond uses a rocket powered boat because he's in Venice, and I'm like, this is just getting silly now. So yeah, don't bother with the Roger Moore film of Moonraker. It's just silly. If you want my personal opinion on what are the best Roger Moore films of the James Bond series, are The Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me, and A View to a Kill. Those are, in my opinion, the three best films with Roger Moore. The others are goofy and silly, but uh, yeah. Other than that, I enjoyed the book. All right. Now onto the fourth book in the James Bond series. Oh, I'm upside down. Diamonds Are Forever. So I'll begin reading this today. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share, and please don't forget to subscribe to October Library, the YouTube channel, and the Facebook group of the Staying In, and please push review of fiction. Until then, I'll catch you later.